Beard! Oh, they scored! It's Grant who's got the goal! From the free kick, and we're heading for extra time now, surely.
Domingo! It is 2-0, and that now surely seals the K League title for Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors.
You're listening to the K League United podcast, proud partner of Football Nation Radio.
Hello, annyeonghaseyo. Welcome to a special pre-match chat edition of the K League United live show ahead of Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors Matchday 3 clash with Hoang Anh Gia Lai. I'm Matthew Binns, and I'm joined from Thailand by Ryan Walters. Hello, Ryan.
Greetings, Matthew. It's lovely here as always.
Yeah, it's switching locations from your usual spot down by the river.
No, I switched camera locations.
Aha.
Oh. I'm looking at the river is right there now. Usually I sit over here, but I didn't feel like moving my workstation, so you get me here today.
Fair enough. A nice evening for it. I'm taking it.
Yes, it's gorgeous. It's it's Thailand. It's nice. It's always nice. The food's good. Everything's great. I'm never coming back. We have football to talk about.
I see that you've speaking of football, you're sporting your Buriram United top there.
I have to kind of keep it hidden here in Bangkok. This is not a super popular top around these parts, especially because I'm staying in Muang Thong's backyard. I'm in Nonthaburi, in just outside of Bangkok technically, but in Bangkok basically. And this is where Muang Thong plays, so I have to kind of wear this one when I'm only down by the river reporting on games and nobody sees me.
Okay, well, we'll hope we won't get any abuse hurled from you from any boats that are passing. But speaking of Buriram, well, not Buriram themselves, but their stadium. We had some K-League teams in action last night, and one of those was Daegu. They were performing down at Thunder Castle. Am I right in there? Thunder
yes,
something.
Thunder Castle.
I didn't want to call it Thunderdome because I know that's something else. But yeah.
They're both great.
They both work. So we're going to quickly just recap last night's matches before we move on to Jeonbuk. So Daegu, they were in action last night. It was a Daegu side with more of a first-team feel, even if Sina is still nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
They took to the pitch looking to bounce back from an embarrassing defeat midweek to Lion City Sailors. In the end, it was Zika with the header at the start of the second half, just been enough to stun the J-League side, and Uriara became the first Japanese club Daegu have actually beaten in their history. Overall, a good performance for Daegu after their loss midweek.
Tremendous. I mean, I think that this is quickly becoming maybe the most interesting group in the East right now, because you've also got Lion City Sailors who went out and ran out 3-0 winners against Daegu, and you think, oh, God, they're world beaters. Look at them go. And then Shandong held them scoreless. The children of Shandong held them scoreless. And then you've got Daegu who lose 3-0 to Lion City Sailors and then go out 2 days later and they beat Urawa. So, and as you said, the first Japanese team they've ever beaten. Zika continues to have a really good ACL, also very close to being Rika. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things going on. A really good bounce back win for Daegu, though. Absolutely, yeah.
Speaking of bouncing back from embarrassing defeats, Ulsan, they found themselves in the group with just a point after their loss to JDT, and deservingly so, given the performance that we saw. But with back-to-back games against what is effectively a Gwangju FC tribute act, Costa scoring his first, as well as with a well-taken free kick, gave them the lead. Park Chu-young, Paul Neat's favourite, Park Chu-young, with a really well-taken effort. So at least he's got one of his 3 for the season in there. And final goal was from Yun Il-lok as well to give Ulsan a 3-0 lead. Again, what were your thoughts on the match, Ryan?
I mean, job done, but only 3? I mean, I know that usually would sound really greedy, but look, they needed a win. And as I was talking about with Roshan yesterday, the schedule really, really worked out for Ulsan to go ahead and bounce back. You know they're going to get 6 points here. Well, you assume anyway. We did see what Lion City Sailors did against the youth. Sorry if the wind's picking up here, but I'll block it.
Hey, it's like our old pre-match chats from the stage.
It really is. No, I think job done for Ulsan, but I would have looked for them to impress a little bit more than they did. Maybe score a few more goals and just really dominate that match a little bit more. But, you can't complain too much about a 3-0 win, especially when the mighty Park Ju-young remembers how to score goals. His first, and I honestly do think that's his first in like 2 years.
It was a really well taken one. It was a volley back from the byline from Lee Chung-young and volleyed by Park himself. So Ulsan rolling back the ears for Korean national team fans there.
That's right.
Speaking about rolling back the ears, obviously Jeonnam Dragons, they're back in the tournament after years and years away, but weren't able to bounce back like Daegu and Ulsan as they fell 2-1 to Melbourne City. But you perhaps were alluding to before we came on that it's not all doom and gloom for Jeonnam.
No, oddly enough, I think this was simultaneously their best performance and one full with a ton of frustration. What they did do is they went out and they attacked the game, and I liked seeing that. They hadn't really done that in the first two matches. The first two matches they set up ultra defensively, and they were out there with 5 at the back, just trying to shut things down, get to halftime 0-0. They did not do that in this one. And I really liked that. Katarava started this one. I think he helped them be a little bit more direct. Probably should have scored within the first 20 seconds of the game, to be honest. But this is one where I don't know if it was because they were playing a different style or what led to it, but they did concede within the first 15 minutes. But they were able to go down and get that right back. I think within 4 minutes, those goals were, the first was the 12th minute. Yeah, the next was the 16th minute with Lee Kyuk with a great goal. Tremendous ball in, tremendous diagonal ball to find him, really good run into the box, and he just skies it past Glover, who had a great game. Glover, he and Lord In-hyuk, I'm not referring to him that way anymore. He's been demoted. Park In-hyuk just, I'm sorry, he had a terrible game. He had just a terrible, terrible game. He had 2 or 3 golden opportunities in this one, and that's on top of 2 or 3 other ones that he's had in other matches. He just, if Jeonnam had more clinical finishing, they're on 9 or at least 7 points, and they're unbeaten. And obviously, I'm a little bit biased here, but they haven't been out of any of these games. It was 0-0 against BG, and then in this one, a draw would have been really fair. And again, if they would have had better finishing, Park In-hyuk, man, just breaking hearts.
But I mean,
mine and the other 2 Jeonnam fans that were there.
I did.
No, actually, it was a pretty pro Jeonnam crowd. It was actually really fun. I don't know if it's just because Melbourne City, they've been really chippy in every game. They've been ready for a fight. And so I think a lot of the folks that are going to these games are repeat customers, and they've seen them a couple of times, and they're like, screw these guys, go Jeonnam. Yeah. So it was a really pro Jeonnam crowd, which was really fun. But positives from the Dragons, I think they could beat Melbourne City on Sunday if they play like that again, and they get some better finishing.
Well, we'll have to see, and yeah, hopefully they will upset a few more. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with them. I think as a K League 2 side, battling out against teams that are, clearly winners or leaders and things of their own divisions, and suddenly it's like, well, we're a K League 2 outfit that struggled with
not even leading the league.
Yeah. So, but yeah. We are going to have to quickly hurry things up, though, because we do have Jeonbuk to kick off. But first, we do have an interview on KLeague.com this week. Last week, we had the player interviews podcast, but there was an omission, and that was the Jeonbuk omission due to our original interviewee, Songbom Kun, being unable to partake. However, we did get to speak to Paek Sung-ho, and this interview was filmed the eve of match day 1. So here it is.
뭐 일단 부주장을 할 수도 있을 것 같다는 이제 얘기는 돌았는데 이제 진짜로 맡게 될 줄은 몰랐고 이제 하루 시즌 시작할 때 미팅을 이제 하려는 그런 자리에 이제 감독님이 주장, 부주장 누가 할 거니까 나와봐라 해서 이제 한마디씩 해라 해서 아 그때 진짜로 하게 되는구나 해서 좀 책임감 있게 해야겠다 생각했고 진짜 성남전 때는 진짜 영광스러웠던 하루였던 것 같아요. 제가 프로 무대에 와서 이런 부주장이라는 자리를 가질 거라는 생각은 못했지만 정말 영광스러운 그런 자리고 더 책임감을 갖게 해주는 자리인 것 같고 또 성남전 하면서 그 완장을 차고 뛰는 게 쉽지 않은 거라 또 한 번 느낀 것 같아요. 일단 제가 프로 무대에서 이렇게 꾸준하게 뛴 적은 처음인데 체력적인 부분이나 이제 경기 그런 감각적인 부분에서 많이 좀 올라온 것 같아요. 뭐 경기 템포나 이런 순간순간 어떻게 대처해야 되는지 그런 상황 인식이나 그런 부분에서 경기를 많이 뛰다 보니까 뭐 뛰면 뛸수록 같은 상황들이 많이 나오고 그런 상황들 어떻게 대처해야 되는지 많이 발전하고 좀 좋아진 것 같아요. 그래서 저는 일류첸코가 울산이랑 할 때 이제 마지막에 골 넣었을 때가 그래도 가장 좀 행복한 순간이고 좀 기억에 남는 순간이었던 것 같아요. 워낙 진짜 중요한 경기였고 중요한 골이었어서 그때 좀 필요로 했던 골인데 진짜 딱 마지막에 들어가서 너무 기억에 남는 그런 장면인 것 같아요. 일단 뭐 ACL 같은 경우는 뭐 예를 들어서 올해는 시드니, 뭐 일본 팀, 여기 베트남 팀들이 있는데 뭐 이런 다른 나라 선수들이 피지컬도 다르고 경기하는 스타일도 매우 달라서 그 경기를 준비하는 그런 준비 과정이 좀 다른 것 같긴 해요. 그다음에 저희도 뭐 시드니랑 할 때는 굉장히 피지컬도 좋고 파워풀한 팀이니까 어떻게 정신무장을 하고 나가야 되는지 그런 준비나 뭐 ACL은 다른 나라 팀들과 경기하기 때문에 좀 준비하는 그런 과정이 좀 더 여러 가지로 많은 것 같고 뭐 K리그도 준비할 과정이 많지만 그래도 많이 해봤던 팀들이고 뭐 이제 이적해 오는 선수들은 그 팀에 맞춰서 준비하는 과정을 좀 적응을 하고 하는 게 필요하겠지만 그래도 K리그는 저도 이제 와서 2년 차인데 작년에 했던 팀들이고 이제 작년을 토대로 좀 어떤 게 좀 좋았고 아빠한테 저도 좀 기억을 하면서 준비하는 편이고 뭐 그런 부분에서 좀 다른 것 같아요. 뭐 ACL은 이제 안 해봤던 팀들도 나오고 K리그는 해봤던 팀들이 있기 때문에 뭐 새 시즌 뭐 새로운 포메이션 뭐 새로운 그런 선수들 때문에 바뀔 수는 있지만 좀 그런 부분에서 조금 다른 것 같아요. 글쎄요. 일단 장점은 크게는 모르겠어요. 크게 장점이라고 얘기하면 일단 한 군데서 할 수 있는 게 장점인 것 같긴 하고 단점이라고 얘기하면은 일단 저희는 한국 사람이고 뭐 음식이나 뭐 날씨나 경기장 그런 잔디 관리 상태, 잔디 스타일도 다 다른데 그런 부분에서 좀 이렇게 해외에 나와서 다른 나라에서 하다 보면은 그 잔디 적응하는 게 좀 단점이라고 얘기하면 할 수 있는 것 같고 또 뭐 이런 집이나 뭐 홈에서 하면은 좀 그런 홈에 대한 그런 편안함이 있는데 이렇게 해외 나와서 6경기를 하다 보니까 좀 많은 부분에서 힘든 게 있는 것 같아요. 저희는 당연히 작년보다 더 좋은 성적을 위해서 지금 준비하고 있고 올해도 뭐 6승을 하면 너무 좋겠지만 진짜 그러기 위해서는 저희가 첫 경기부터 준비를 잘 해서 첫 단추를 잘 깨야 된다고 생각하고 있어요. 그래서 일단은 시드니에 좀 집중해서 준비를 잘 하고 시드니부터 이기고 좀 다음 경기 4경기 좀 준비 잘해서 작년처럼 이제 좋은 결과를 갖고 리그에서도 그 영향을 이어갈 수 있도록 잘 해야 될 것 같아요. 글쎄요, 뭐 일단 첫 경기 이기고 첫 던치를 잘 끼는 게 저는 분위기가 굉장히 좋냐 나쁘냐에 큰 영향을 미친다 생각하는데, 뭐 다른 뭐 옛날 월드컵을 봤을 때 스페인이 첫 경기에 졌었는데 우승한 적이 있거든요. 그래서 뭐 그건 팀마다 다른 것 같거든요. 전 개인적으로 이 조별리그에서 첫 경기가 정말 중요하지 않나 생각하고 있어요. 왜냐면 첫 경기 시드니랑 하고 이제 또 두 번째 경기 또 시드니랑 있기 때문에 일단 승리를 해야 다음 경기도 저희가 분위기를 이어갈 수 있는 걸 생각해서 시드니부터 이기고 해야 이제 다음 경기 요코하마 다음 팀도 이길 수 있다고 생각하고 있어요. 당연히 준비 잘하면 이겨낼 수 있다고 생각하고, 뭐 저도 해외에 있을 때 그 경기를 봤는데 그 경기가 기억나더라고요. 같은 그룹이 되고. 그래서 이번에는 진짜 준비를 잘해서 좀 잘 준비하면은 전북 정말 좋은 선수들 많고 진짜 아시아 최고라는 팀인데 충분히 이길 수 있다고 생각하고 있어요. 당연히 걱정되고요. 뭐 저희도 홈에서 하면 더 힘받고 뭐 팬분들의 응원이나 그런 부분에서도 굉장히 도움이 크다고 생각하는데, 저 개인적으로 그래서 일단 베트남에서 경기를 하고 잔디 상태나 날씨나 모든 게 이제 그 선수들한테 맞춰져 있기 때문에 저희는 빨리 적응을 해야 되는 상황이고, 뭐 그래도 세 번째 경기랑 첫 번째, 두 번째 경기를 하면서 빨리 적응해야 저희도 세 번째 경기 때 좋은 결과를 가지고 올 수 있지 않나 생각하고 있어요. 그래서 절대 쉽지 않은 경기가 되겠구나 생각을 갖고 있어요. 뭐 일단 작년에도 저희가 되게 비슷한 상황이 중간에 있었는데 그때도 꽤 점수 차이가 많이 났고, 뭐 저는 이제 이게 이렇게 되면은 정말 쉽지 않을 수 있겠다 생각하는데, 이제 고참 형들이나 이제 전북에 오래 있었던 선수들은 그렇지 않더라고요. 뭐 마음가짐이나 운동을 준비하는 거 보면 그냥 평상시랑 똑같게 우리가 하던 대로, 지금은 뭐 안 좋지만 그렇다고 또 이대로 가면 안 되는 거고, 또 잘 준비를 해서 결국에 우리가 다시 다잡고 좀 잘하는 거 하다 보면은 결국엔 좋은 결과가 있을 거다. 뭐 차분하게 좀 준비를 하더라고요. 그래서 그런 부분에서 좀 포기하지 않고 차분하게 좀 냉정하게 좀 그 다음을 생각하고 준비를 하지 않나, 뭐 그런 부분에서 좀 DNA가 나오는 것 같아요. 고참 형들이 팀을 잘 이끌어주고 뭐 오래 있던 선수들이 좀 그런 차분함에서 나오는 것 같아요. 뭐 질문 대답을 많이 했는데, 작년보다는 뭐 어시스트를 많이 하고 공격 포인트를 많이 하는 게 개인적인 목표고, 뭐 일단 매 경기 팀에 도움이 되는 게 제 개인적인 목표인 것 같아요. 저희는 우승을 가능한 팀이기 때문에 우승하고 싶고, 작년보다는 더 좋은 결과로 보여주고 싶어요. 왜냐면 작년에 좀 아쉽게 8강에서 탈락했기 때문에 올해는 준비를 좀 더 잘해서 ACL에서 좋은 결과를 얻고 싶기 때문에 좀 잘해서 좋은 결과 한번 내보겠습니다.
Fans, we want to hear from you. You're encouraged to email KLU at info@kleagueunited.com or tweet at KLeagueUnited with any questions, comments or reactions. Or ask directly during one of our live shows.
Welcome back to the K League United podcast, the live edition of the K League United podcast. I'm your host, switching formations on the other side of the screen now with, the gazebo's being blocked. We can't have that. Also, I should note there are pigeons that live above where I am right now, so maybe we'll see some magic. They're not here at the moment, but you never know. There are folks that are probably rooting for that to happen. But speaking of rooting for things to happen, some K League fans, certainly you, will be hoping that Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors can get another win tonight. They are currently sitting top of the group in Group H right now, and the lineups are out, and there are some significant changes in this lineup. Most notably, Kim Moon-hwan, he's right in there.
Yeah, came back Tuesday. He was back. He wasn't in the squad for the Yokohama game, but he has been deemed fit here. And I think this squad also has quite a lot of rotation in it. I think these two games, with all respect to Hoang Anh Gia Lai, I think Jeonbuk could target these two games for the rotation, and with the COVID players that they've had out, this is going to allow them to introduce them back in slowly. But yeah, Kim Moon-hwan is back. He's out on the right in a 3-4-3 formation. Kim Sang-sik going for the shape that was winning games in the K League before he came out here. The first two games of this group, he reverted back to a back four, and I think that was done out of necessity given the players who were absent. But now he's got more and more of his personnel back. He can kind of go back to what he was trying before they flew out.
Yeah, and speaking of before they flew out, the thought was that Gustavo was going to be with them. He wasn't. There were reports this morning in Korea that he might be with the team. He's on the bench. Songbom Kun is also on the bench, and those gentlemen are both there. But I think, well, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's touch on the bench, and then I want to touch on one player out on the pitch that's been having a really good tournament so far. But first, that bench is pretty stacked. And are you surprised to see Gustavo there like immediately? Did he get off of the plane and go to the stadium?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that article this morning, and I've actually just tweeted out a few hours ago, thinking, oh yeah, I didn't put this out. I'll put that out now. And then yeah, it seems like K League Brazil had the inside track on it as well. They did tweet out not so long ago that he'd flown out and was going to be in the squad, and yeah, he's there. But I don't see the benefit of putting him in the squad, to be honest. If he's only just flown out, then just let him have a rest. There's going to be another game against this side in a few days' time. Keep him fresh for them. But I think Kim Sang-sik, maybe he feels get a few goals in. There's no harm in just giving him a run out. I'm sure Gustavo's been keeping fit at home, even though he's had COVID. I'm sure he's had ways of keeping physically fit throughout the isolation period.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's one of those mind games as well, where he threw him on the bench just to give July something. I keep saying that as if it's July, something to think about. That he is there as that threat. I don't know that he'll play tonight. I honestly think that might just be a mind games kind of thing. But speaking of mind games, and we'll keep this relatively brief because we got 7 minutes until kickoff. But I think somebody that's going to be in the heads of opposition and somebody that's giving manager Kim Sang-sik, which is how it's pronounced, commentators who I know are watching while they're also broadcasting right now. Don't know if you heard that.
There's some fans. The fans are coming for you. They've seen your broadcast. They're on the boat.
Yep, some Wonton fans just went by. I got to get out of here. No, somebody that is in the heads of the opposition and somebody that's giving the manager a good problem with Songbom Kun coming back is Ibum Soo. He's been in the team of the round for match days 1 and 2. He's looked really good. I think he'll look good again tonight. This isn't much of a surprise for those of us that follow K League. It's also not the first time he's been in ACL. He was there with Gyeongnam a couple of years ago. But can you talk about how quickly he's hit the ground running and how quickly he's fit into that back line?
Well, very, because he actually disappeared from play from the Jeonbuk squad for a couple of weeks, so we weren't entirely sure why. And then that last round before they flew out, you also saw Jeonbuk field a lot of players in their B team, a lot of first-team players in their B team, probably to get them physically fit for this match. It was against Seoul No One United. They played quite like Lee Hyun, and Ibum Soo was picked as the goalkeeper for that match. They obviously didn't think he was going to be starting in this. They had Songbom Kun all ready to come out, but yeah, it's just been great. I don't know whether he was tested that much against Sydney, but against Yokohama did have a few opportunities and he made some really good saves. There was one moment where I was worried he didn't make a mess of it, but there was a slight concern at one point against Yokohama, but for the most part he was making some really good saves. And yeah, it's great to see some competition as well on Songbom Kun. I still think Song is the better keeper. I know there are a lot of neutrals. I don't think you'd find any Jeonbuk fans clamoring for Ibum Soo over Songbom Kun, but you'd certainly find neutrals who seem to have it in for Song Bom-kun, and don't seem to doubt his ability. And for them as well, it's good to see. Well, Jeonbuk do have a really good goalkeeper option in reserve, and I'm all I don't mind who's playing between the sticks as long as they're playing as well as they are. And Lee Bum-soo is playing really, really well here, and yeah, it's great to see him in the squad.
I mean, ACL apparently is the tournament for backup keepers at massive Korean clubs, as we saw Cho Soo-hyuk lead Ulsan to the title in 2020. So who knows? Maybe this is Lee Bum-soo's version of the FA Cup. This is his tournament that he'll be taking people to the top.
Yeah, and it was his brother Lee Bum-young in the group stages last summer for Jeonbuk as well, because Song Bom-kun was on international duties. So yeah, it's you want a reserve goalkeeper? Well, you'll find him in the ACL.
What a ringing endorsement for the group stages that is, Matthew. All right, we got to get out of here soon.
Goalkeepers.
But it's true, quality goalkeepers. I still don't know how Cho Soo-hyuk isn't starting for someone. Anyway, two quick things. One quick thing before we get to the prediction. Starting up top tonight, it is a trio. We've got Kim Bo-kyung, Modu Barrow. Again, that's how you say it, commentators. And Song Min-kyu. Min-kyu, as they've been saying, which is close.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't rail on it every time. I do, but I can't. That's a pretty solid attacking three, yeah?
You think so? Barrow's, obviously Barrow's come back from, he had a lot of time off for the African Cup of Nations, after he came back from the African Cup of Nations, and he has been slowly catching up with the rest of the squad. I think this is a good opportunity for him now to get on the score sheet and push on. But yeah, I think there's pace up front there, and Kim Bo-kyung, well, perhaps not as pacey, but I expect him to be just dropping back off the three and feeding the other two, really. And so, yeah, still very strong attack. And Ilyichenko is on the bench. Ilyichenko started a bit slow, both to the domestic season and this competition. So perhaps best to give him a bit of a rest here. Perhaps bring him on later on and see if he can get a goal as well to improve his confidence.
Yeah, actually, I really like that shout. I think that's pretty smart to see if maybe he can just be a difference maker, more of a disruptor instead of the guy that needs to go out there and score in the first half. And speaking of scoring in the first half, we got 2 minutes till kickoff. How's this one going to play out, Matthew?
It's hard to look past Jeonbuk on here. I mean, obviously, Hoang Anh Gia Lai, they do have their own threats, but they've also not really, they've only got a point from their first 2 games. I'd expect Jeonbuk here, it's still a very, very strong squad that Jeonbuk have put out. They're playing in a formation that has been working for them. So I see maybe a couple of goals to Jeonbuk, 2-0, perhaps 3 if they're feeling frivolous.
Oh, well, 3. I mean, that's what Ulsan could muster against some kids. So that's a massive, massive scoreline. Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I think I'm going to say 2-1. I think Zalai get on the board there. Especially because that home crowd, they are playing in Ho Chi Minh. That's not their home stadium, but it's in Vietnam. So it's essentially their home crowd. But I think they'll make a match out of it. But I do think Jeonbuk gets the win. And hopefully we can, keep talking about K League teams doing well.
Yep.
Like on Sunday night when the Dragons win. Which, just one last thing before we go, I will say that speaking to Simon Hill about the Dragons, he did say that he was more impressed with them than Jeonbuk. So
I'm not going to say anything bad about him because he's a Man City fan. So, no, sorry.
Hey. All right, well, we got to get out of here because the match is about to start. But enjoy the games, and thanks for watching.
전조선 공격 복격기 김, 신, 울